As coaches, you want to get your athletes as strong as possible without jeopardizing their speed and quickness. The Exploder does just that. Triple extension lifts are the key to more powerful movements, and the Exploder bar was designed to allow these exercises to be performed in a safe and effective manner. And it's a great way to condition core muscle groups and ligaments. The Exploder bar is built for athletes who are looking for speed, strength, and explosion. Check it out at premierathleticssolutions.com.
Here today with Coach Carl Abseck of your Barbers Hill Eagles. How are things today, Coach?
Going great. We only got a couple of weeks left of school, and we're wrapping up spring ball this week. So it's been a busy spring, but it's been a good one.
So as you mentioned that's usually my next question is, you've seen your kids out there competing in other sports in the spring. You've seen them in spring football. You've seen them in the weight ring. How are things for the Eagles in the spring?
It's been great. We had, about 30 boys and girls go to regionals and track. And, our baseball team is in the third round. Our softball team's in the fourth round. And we're on practice 14 today. So we're cooking pretty hot down here at the end of the year. And but it's been really good watching our kids go and compete and have a lot of success. We had a great track season. So it's been really good. I've been real proud of our kids and the opportunities they've had to go compete. They've done a good job and have really gotten after it.
So kind of walk us through your team for the fall. Who are you graduating that you're going to need to replace? Who might step into those roles? Who's going to be back? What roles they might play?
Well, we have a lot of kids back, which is good. Last year we were pretty young when we started the year, and this coming season we'll have a lot more veterans of the previous season back. So, defensively, I'm excited. We've got, two defensive ends who played, that started at DN last year back with Brandon Wilson and Gabe Guzman. We've got 4 linebackers who have extensive experience with Colton Edmondson, Trey Bright, Landon Gaskamp, and Miller Malone. So, all 4 of those guys should man, the 4 spots at linebacker and played a ton of football last year. So I'm excited about that. So our front 7, we're pretty excited about the depth of experience and returning starters that we have there. We're looking at Isaac Heron to step in at the nose. That's a position up front that we lost considerable amount of depth from last year. So that'll be a new starter with not much game experience, and so we're excited about the potential that he has. Probably our defensively, our area of least experience is in the secondary. Theron Pierre was the 3-year starter at corner, and so we have to replace him. And then Cohen Pagan started at the other corner. We got to replace him. Brawley Van started at safety. So we lost 3 of the 4 starters. Blaine Sledge is the one guy back there, returning from last year. He started 12 games, so we're lean on him a little bit, but he's been in baseball, so he's missed most of spring or all of spring as far as the actual practices go. But he did start 12 games last year. But it's given us a great chance to check out some younger kids, with Antoine Bolden being one of those, Michael Guy, Mario Gobert. Those 3 guys are, kind of front and center of starting at corner and competing at the corner with obviously we got some other guys that are going to be fighting for those opportunities. And then at safety, we have Talon Ramon, we have Braden Hamby. Let me think for a second here. I just went blank. Oh, Cale Dunham. So we got several guys that are in the fight back there at safety as well. So we've got good competition that's working back there in the secondary, but that's the area of least amount of experience on the defense. Offensively, we're probably looking at starting 4 juniors and a senior up front. And I think, on any good team, it all starts with your O-line, your D-line. And so I think those guys are going to really grow as the season, commences, and they're going to continue to get better and better as we go. They've all got good size. And 3 of them have quite a bit of experience at the varsity level, so I'm excited about them. But we lost, Ryan Webb at left tackle, so he's a big one we have to replace. But Aiden Mooring started every game at center. He'll probably move to tackle. And he's been in baseball, so he's missed most of spring too. But he did get 12 games of experience, and I think he took every snap we had at center last year. And Eduardo Movena will be one of the guards. Caden Tyler, most likely at center. Brady Francis at a guard, and Dave Israel Rodriguez at the other tackle. And I think all 5 of those guys, when it's all said and done, are going to be a good crew. The strength of our offense coming back is with Cody Fuentes at quarterback. He started every game last year and a couple of games as a sophomore. Very competitive kid. He's a varsity basketball kid. He was a regional qualifier in track the last 2 years. So we'll have him pulling the trigger. And we got 3 of our 3 leading receivers are all back. With Brady Thompson, who's been in baseball. He starts at second base. Trip Davis was our 3rd leading receiver, and then Kyler Williams was our 2nd leading receiver. So all 3 of those guys are back. And you add to that mix, guys who have really come on strong this year, and we're really excited about to add to that group. Landon Smith, who's a senior, maybe the fastest kid in the program, had a really, really good track season. Carter Wampler, Cooper Lucas, and then kind of the wild card. And one of the guys that has the most experience back, just didn't get to play last year because of injury, is Josiah Herndon. He's a big 6'4" target speedster. Missed all of last year, but had 17 touchdowns as a sophomore. And so we get him back into the mix. So we really feel good about our depth at receiver. Cooper Hornberger is another guy that'll be competing in that group. I feel like I'm leaving somebody out, but I don't want to do that if I can keep from it. But there's a bunch of them, that are going to be competing for those opportunities. And I think competition is great. At running back, Jaden Rodriguez was our 2nd leading rusher last year, and he'll be back to really tote the mail. And then Evan Hoagland, those 2 guys, Kyrion Landry, will play into that. So we got some good depth there as well, and some really explosive kids. Jaden was a regional qualifier in the 200 and both on the 4x1 and 4x2. So we really like the kids we got coming back in the skill department. And I think as that offensive line continues to develop and mature and grow, it's going to be a pretty explosive offense.
All right. So if you don't mind, kind of walk us through who's in your district and what you expect to see from them on the field this fall.
It's a very, very competitive district. Port Arthur obviously won it last year. We got 2nd, and they returned some really, really talented kids. Had a really good freshman class as well. They're going to be really, really tough. I think LaPorte is really developing a program under their new coach, and I think they'll be really tough. Again, they had a really good freshman class as well. That'll add to their depth. Both of those teams beat us in district last year. We ended up finishing 2nd, but those are the 2 teams that beat us last year. You got Crosby, who's always going to be tough. You got all 3 of the Bay Towns, very talented teams, who, if you don't prepare and get ready to play, they can cause you trouble. And then you have Kingwood Park and New Caney Porter, and both of those teams were 2 of the bigger, stronger teams we played last year. Kingwood Park lost some really talented kids, but their program depth is really good, and so they're going to be tough as well. We have to go to them this year, and then Porter really kind of came on last year. I think people kind of overlooked them last year, but they were in the hunt for the playoffs up until the last week. So overall, just really quality depth across the board. You got 9 teams in that district, so you only get 2 non-district games, and so you got to be able to hit the ground running after that and be prepared to play games that are going to determine whether you go to the playoffs or not.
All right. Now, you've been around coaching for a little while, a lot of different positions at different schools. Based on your experience, what would you say the biggest challenge facing high school athletics in Texas right now is?
I think probably just the options that kids have. I mean, in the old days, kids went from sport to sport and just played them all. And I think now the biggest challenge is getting kids to come out and play multiple sports. I'm a big proponent of that. I think it's important for your best kids to go out and compete in everything that they're capable of, to have sustained success across the board in your athletic department. And there's a lot of people that are pulling them in different directions and giving them advice as to what they need to do and should do. And I don't know that it's always in the best interest of the kid, because there's a lot of money involved in it too. And I think there's a lot of that moves kids away from going out and competing for their schools and their communities, in all the different sports that they're capable of. And I think that's something that we as coaches have to continue to work on. And I think it works both ways. You have to be supportive of them as well, in the other endeavors that they're doing, whether that's going to watch them and being present there at their games, but also giving them the opportunity to be successful in those sports. I've got, I think, eight kids that are football kids that are playing varsity baseball right now, and they don't get to do spring until they're finished with their sport, because I want them to be ready to compete and play when those games start. And does it hurt us a little bit in spring ball? Well, yeah, a little bit, but at the same time, I can't tell them to go out and compete and then not give them the freedom to go do it freely, without distraction, and let them go and do the things that they're doing. And so I think, that's something that we have to work on as coaches, to make sure that we're doing our part as well, to allow them to do that. But it's also important that the community support that and push their kids to go out and compete for us in all the different sports they're capable of.
All right, so let's go from a real big picture, try and come down to small picture and learn a little bit about Carl Abseck. What would you say your number one guilty pleasure is?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, M&Ms, I guess. I like M&Ms. They're not necessarily good for me, but I like M&Ms, peanut M&Ms.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you very much for your time today. Best of luck as you wrap up the school year and head into the 23 season.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
And for our viewers, look down below. If you like this video, hit that like button. It helps with the algorithm on YouTube expose this video to more viewers. Hit the subscribe button so that you get notifications when we publish future videos.
Gridiron Warriors take the field in an epic battle that is larger than life. It is called Texas High School Football. Only one show can bring the greatest sport from the greatest state into focus. Lone Star Gridiron.